there are some opinions that you may disagree with, or not even disagree with. You may have proof that it's not true, but you're seeing
They
it,
still don't
saying,
believe you.
Right. How did they get there? So, okay, so what's the way out? Meaning if someone's believing a lie and you can barely talk to them long enough to talk them out of it, then this is why some get skeptical about a possibility of coexistence.
Yes. Existence it's guaranteed. We're both going to exist.
Sure.
But this is why there's two different worlds. I mean, this guy told me
Well, when people are talking about coexistence, they're talking about some
level of...
Not that there's people living in Gaza with a 4 mile wide security border.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we mean by coexistence. Coexistence, happens in
really
Jerusalem.
rocking with each other, And I think, honestly, coexistence is it's good for optics because people who aren't living in reality want to see this. I have friends like that, artists. We want to all get along, because we originally connect off music, and music is like, if you're dope, you're dope. You know what I'm saying? And you can't just be based in activism. The thing is, I'm an artist that came into advocacy work based on how much I care about representing my Jewish identity through my art, right? And the idea of coexistence, it's like a beautiful story for everybody else, but the one it's really tough for is us. Like, what it feels like to go to a place and everyone's like walking by me openly, just snapping pictures of me, probably sending into groups, watch out for this guy, he's trouble. All he wants to do is cause trouble. What do you cause trouble? Are you Palestinian? I'm Israeli. Aren't we supposed to one? Why is it everyone else and it's a bunch of other people. You ever talk to someone? It's a bunch of coworkers and bosses that are talking about wives, right? Mm-hmm. So you got, he works with me and don't date him and don't date that guy. And you're like, the only two people that aren't really talking are Israelis and Palestinians.
So what's a way you see out of it?
Doing very uncomfortable stuff like hanging out, getting a lunch together. I think food is a great connector. I think making videos is great. I think making hopeful content is awesome. I mean, you see that, oh my God, why did you give me $1? I'm going to give you $500. I mean, like all that stuff kind of uplifts people, gives people like hopeful stuff. Sure. Hopeful stuff is the reality. Hope isn't pretty, The great way to do it is to get people to change, slightly. Like me acknowledging the Nakba to people is like bananas to them. Like, okay, people got displaced.
Right.
People got displaced. Like, this is a reality of war. So did every other area of that entire region. People were getting displaced.
Yeah,
and people are getting displaced all the time. Right now, there's hundreds of thousands of Israelis that are displaced from the north.
100%. So
they're refugees too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that on some level, it's a really difficult thing. And you even have UN and UNRWA, 12 other people were, now possibly 17, but 12 people were accused of being involved in October 7 massacres, right?
Oh, wow.
And
I mean,
it's not surprising to me,
unfortunately,
but to other people,
yeah,
they think it's a scam. You see what I'm saying? So you're like, like I've been to court before, and I said I plead guilty. So I understand where it's like I have experience of saying, hey, it's my fault. I'm willing to like just go through with this and change. And change to people is devastating because their entire ecosystem is surrounded by that. So you have like the guys like Daniel Mate or Gabor Mate, and we get tokenized, right? So you have the Neturei Karta. They're the Jews of Saturday. And they're like, I can't speak in the microphone. But I'm like, okay, you guys are carrying signs. Does that count? I mean, I'm not the one, but I'm not religious, so I'm not going to use that because I don't even think I need to do that.
Right.
And then you have, they're like, okay, well, we got one black person, and here marching BLM and we're marching with Palestine. And then the Israelis, we have, our one cool Arab guy. And everyone becomes tokenized. And it just becomes an ecosystem of this. And for me, what I'm trying to do is sort of like figure out how like if you just take a step back and look at it and be like, man, this whole shit is just crazy, just like an average person. And I'm hoping to find the funny in that, because the finding funny and laughing a little bit is a sense of relief and a sense of joy and just being like, damn, dude, we got a lot of work to do. As a society of like of just being nice to each other, And I'm not saying that anyone's wrong. I'm just saying I feel, in fact, very just in being very pro-Israel, but I just find it very difficult for stuff to ever change. So I'm just gonna make stuff as an artist, But ideally, when you make things, this is my first time having an impact. I feel like in my entire life.
Really?
People around Israel were stopping me in the street saying, "I love you. Thank you so much for changing my heart and just making me feel safe and making me feel empowered and it really means a lot to me." And
Pro-Israel people?
Israelis, yeah.
Yeah, Israelis.
I mean, people are extremely, and very anti-Israel people, and other people being like, "I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from you." I watch all these other people that are really but I learned a lot from you. You know what? I respect the fact that you're always going hard for your shit, and you don't worry. You're not like, I'm not reposting other people's content.
Right.
I'm creating my own because I could stand on my experience. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I could stand on, oh, you know what? I fucked up. My bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get up and try again. But if you're not leaving the house and just sharing everyone else's stuff, I mean, why should I really respect your opinion, essentially?
Right. Everyone's got different
but I just...
different strengths, so.
That's it. Like, it's just, the thing is, like, I'm outside in the street, whether I'm rapping or speaking to people or creative. So if you see me in the street and you see me at a thing, when I was at the rally, the Palestine rally, there were a bunch of Jews on the side. They're like, "Koshy Deals, I love all your TikToks." And I'm like interviewing these one people, and they're like, it was like pit bulls for Palestine or some shit. And I was just like, aesthetically, it looks cool. I'm going to say it has a nice ring to it. You know what I mean? I like the dog is cute. The dog has been nicer to me than anyone at the protest. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, yeah, pit bulls for Palestine. Dude, let's get our dogs together.
Let's.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. So, I'm just exploring, man. It's like something new for me. It's like a whole new medium. I never done this. But one thing I do see is that people say, "Wow, you're so strong." I'm like, so courageous? Have you never... But then again, I've also come from addiction where I've had guns to my head. People have robbed me. People have pistol whipped my friends. I've been involved in really dark, dangerous things from addiction.